Well, well, well. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Buckles Locker. Subscribe to the channel, like the channel, share all the videos. Don't forget to hit the notification bell icon to notify you on all new videos that's posted on this channel. Woo-wee! Second day of the new year. We biking this thing. Oh, Lord have mercy. Mercy, 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 mercy. Hopefully everybody had a good Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, isn't it? A bottle of water. You want a bottle of water? A bottle of water. All right, all right, all right. Let's get on in here and let's have this conversation. We'll have a quick little conversation. I ain't gonna take up too much of y'all time today. I'm gonna keep this under an hour. I know y'all got things to do. You know what I'm saying? Get your New Year's resolutions going on and everything. Hopefully everybody goes well with that. You know what I'm saying? Happy New Year and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So you know how that works. Closer than close. I've been watching a little bit of Chloe here, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to get organized and everything. Got to do a little bit of studying. Back to school tomorrow. Tomorrow. Closer than close. Hold on a second. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. Closer than close. Happy New Year. Let's get it. So, y'all know what it is, man. Let's get to it, man. The Bucs coming off a terrible loss to the Saints. We had a conversation about that. I don't want to dwell on that too much, but got to touch on it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit, just to touch, love, a little bit. got to touch on it a little bit because we can get closer than close. So, yeah. So the aftermath of that game, I can still hear the aftermath. I can still hear the frustration in the Bucks fan base. A lot of upset individuals was not happy with the performance. I wasn't happy with the performance. We all seen it. What the? We all seen it. It was terrible. What in the world? I didn't like it. Um, Interesting. Was it? Cause it is. I hope not. Um, so what should I start at? 4 turnovers, poor coaching, yada yada yada. That is not a way to win the game. We're not going to beat anybody in the playoffs playing like that. There's no chance. The Bucks need to tighten up. That's all I'm gonna say about the game, for real, for real. That was probably the worst game of the entire season for the Bucks, and they picked a bad time to do it. 4 game winning streak, looking good, rising in the power rankings. People started to talk about us, Baker contract extension, Mike Evans, and all that stuff, yada yada yada. And then the Bucks led egg at home. Bucks are a very weird team. Let's be real. Like, so interesting. 16 games. We can look at the last year, 2022, the Bucks were 8-9. The Bucks are 8-8 right now. So they basically pretty much the same team despite getting younger at quarterback. So that tells me right here, whether they go 8-9 or 9-8, this is what tells me about this team. 2 years in a row, you thought you would see a jump. You see a little bit here and there, but it's not the jump that we expected. And I told y'all once again about Todd Bowles. I think we have a ceiling with him. No matter who's the quarterback, I think there's a ceiling, right? The Bucks are currently 8-8. The offense is averaging. I'll give y'all some I'll give y'all some scoring averages here. Kind of give you an overview of 2022 team and the 2023 team. Not much of a difference. Even being younger at quarterback, there's no real glaring difference. Like there's no major like 360. You know what I'm saying? You've seen some improvement in the running game. The passing is pretty much, I mean, as far as yardage wise, lesser. Points per game is a little higher, but the wins are pretty much the same. 8-8 currently. The Bucs were 8-9 last year, 2022. So there's not no huge difference. It was a 45-year-old Tom Brady, a late 20s Baker Mayfield. That says more about Baker Mayfield than anything to me. You would think that you was hoping that the Bucs can get 10 wins, then be like, okay, I get it, right? Baker was +2. But to be pretty much the same team or +1 is not really saying much, to be honest with you. And Brady was pretty much done at the end of his career. So to compare Brady to Baker now, that's a more an indictment on Baker. You know what I'm saying? Like Brady at 45 is still just as good as Baker at 28, 26, 27, whatever. You know, so I mean, hopefully everybody ain't pounding their chest about this year. I mean, I get it. We've had some bright spots. Beginning of the season, the 4-game winning streak. But I'm gonna tell you what the problem is with the Bucs. What really hurt the Bucs this season is not being able to perform consistently, especially in that 1-6 uh, time frame. And then this past Sunday or last year pretty much summed up what the Bucs are really, what they really are. And they'll give you some spurts. They'll give you 3-4 wins here, 2 wins here. They'll give you this, but in all, as long as Todd Bowles is the head coach, I think the Bucs have a ceiling. The Bucs have a ceiling. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully everybody understand. Hopefully, I just hope that, and I told y'all this is a transition year. I hope everybody was willing to accept that. I think some people still had hope that we was going to be this elite team. I don't know why, but I had a feeling. Not a lot of us, but some of us still had this projection of the Bucs are going to be really good with the Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield combination. I don't even think that combination is going to win a lot of games. As far as when I say a lot of games, I'm talking about going to the upper echelon of teams, because the coach is not. I don't think he's an average coach. I think he's a little bit below average, and Baker Mayfield, at best, is an average quarterback. He has a low ceiling, high floor. And with those quarterbacks, you need a stacked team. Specifically in the trenches and the run game, you need a stacked team. You need a top 10 O-line. You need a top flight running game. With this current team, if the Bucs had a top 10 O-line, a top 15 run game, the Bucs will probably win 11, 12 games. But being that the Bucs have a bottom 5 O-line and a bottom 5 run game, that puts a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield. And he's trying. I'm going to keep saying this. He's doing what he can do. You can see it. But it's just the limitations of the roster itself. And you saw it this Sunday. You know what I'm saying? You saw it this Sunday that the Bucs have limitations, even with Baker Mayfield playing at this level, at his best. And he surpassed his career highs in touchdowns and yards. I mean, I think his career high was prior to this past, this season right here, was like 3,600 yards. He's at what, 3,900 or 3,700 yards? Now he had 3,900. So, and it has a lot to do with him playing for a contract too. Usually guys give their career, guys like Baker and a few other guys in the NFL, a multitude of guys in the NFL, NBA, MLB, their contract years are usually their best year, and then they revert back to who they really are. As a matter of fact, we've seen it with Geno Smith. Geno Smith, bounced around for years and had a really good season last year, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and it was like, oh wow, And then Geno Smith kind of reverted back to who he really is. He's the average quarterback. So So when you look at this past Sunday in the Saints game for 3 quarters, the Bucs looked like pure dookie. You know, I don't even know how else to put that. Um, it was quite sad to watch. And don't give me this number thing. Numbers do not tell the whole story this past Sunday. You know, numbers do not tell the whole story. You know, don't let the numbers fool you. Don't let the fourth quarter run fool you. The Bucs played awful. You know, 23-13 at the end of the day, right? Regardless of how many yards and all this crap, you lost the game. Now, now you got to run into Charlotte, North Carolina. Now you got to play the Panthers. The Panthers are not good, but the Bucs played the Panthers a few weeks ago and they beat them 21-18. The Bucs are currently averaging 21 points a game, or 21.2 points a game to be more specific. Or Pacific, you know what I'm saying? So that's what what the Bucs are plus 2.2 points a game. So Baker is good for 2.2 points a game plus, right? That's not saying a lot. I mean, that's good though. I mean, it's NFL average, and when you're average across the board at quarterback, coach at best, O line is below average, running game is below average, the receivers are above average, which is good. The defense average at best, the secondary below average, D line average at best. You literally become 8-8. You know, you're 8-8. That's what the Bucs are. The Bucs are an average team. You know, um, right around where I expected them to be. I said 7-10, so the Bucs are +1 in the win column for me, from against my prediction. So that's cool. But I don't see a major improvement. And now we got to win and go home. Win or go home. You know, win or go home. It's kind of like very simple. It's not even a lot to explain with this game. I don't really need to go into details, but I probably will touch on a little bit here and there. It's either you win or go home. I mean, will 21 points win this game? Sure, but who knows? The Bucs are a weird team. You know, the Bucs are a weird team. We've seen it all this season, and going to this game, you gotta. And I hate to say this, but there's got to be a little like disappointment going into the game. It's like you would hope that the Bucs would have come into this game with the division clinched, number 4 seed. We chilling for we the starters play for a quarter or two, and we chilling. You know, everybody getting healthy. We good. But now the Bucs got to go in this game in Charlotte and win the game. And obviously, there's a possibility of injury to somebody. Somebody might get a concussion, might get nicked up. Who knows? I don't even know. To be honest with you, I don't even know how Todd Bowles is going to play this game. You know, Todd Bowles can play this game 110 miles an hour and do everything he can to win the game. Sure, and I hope that happens, right? But on the flip side, at what cost? If you can't beat the Panthers, there are some teams that beat the Panthers and they didn't even play 100%. Let me repeat. There are some teams that played the Panthers and didn't even play hard. Their starters was pretty much done in the third quarter. But for some strange reason, I got a feeling the Bucs going to have to play all 4 quarters because this team is weird. It's a weird team. The Bucs not going to be able to coast in this game. And that's just unfortunate too, because you will hope that the Bucs can just coast in this game, but I'm not putting no money on that. That's a good point, Brent O'Neill. Todd Bowles, Baker Mayfield is the same as Ryan Fitzpatrick and Todd Bowles in New York. Yeah, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick was a little bit more productive. Like he's done a lot more as far as production wise than Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield prior to this season, he's never been a high productive quarterback. He's never been a highly productive quarterback from a scoring points perspective. His best season was 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions prior to this season. So going into this season, this is his best season, and he's at what, about 3,900 yards and 28 touchdowns, which is, in a year of the quarterback not playing well, that's That's good for him. And let me touch on this real quick too. And I've seen people doing this. People started throwing out comparisons between Baker and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and yada 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 yada. And I understand the point y'all was trying to make, but I think you missing some context behind the player. Comparing Baker Mayfield numbers to players that are better than him is not a flex as you think it is. It's not a flex because there is no coach in the NFL is taking Lamar Jackson or taking Baker Mayfield over Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. So the number comparison is cool, but also include the player himself, right? Include the player himself. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes are game changers. Baker Mayfield is a game manager. That's the difference. Those two have played at a higher level than Baker Mayfield would ever play in. So be careful when you make comparisons with Baker Mayfield and the upper echelon quarterbacks. Be careful. This is Baker's best season, and this is a year of average quarterback play. So people are taking Patrick Mahomes' worst year and comparing it to Baker's best year. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? You comparing Baker's best year to Patrick Mahomes' worst year, and you think that's a flex? Even Lamar Jackson, matter of fact, he turned the volume up this past Sunday against the Dolphins. Has Baker Mayfield ever done that? Against a team, a high-level team for the Bucs? No. He's never done that. Lamar Jackson has done, I think the Ravens, I ain't mean to get off topic, but I had to address this. I've seen this in a few posts. I've never seen Baker Mayfield with the Bucs do what Lamar Jackson did to a team with a 500 and above record. Well, matter of fact, he did against the Jags. So, yeah, I'll give Baker Mayfield the credit. He did put up a hell of a game against the Jags. But the Jags are falling apart. We all see that. And to add context to that game against the Jags have a bottom 5 pass defense. Lamar did it against San Francisco 49ers. Did Baker do that against San Francisco 49ers? No. Lamar has done that in big games. And to compare average seasons for Lamar Jackson and Lamar and Patrick Mahomes, and you're throwing up Baker Mayfield numbers, well, damn, how low can you set the bar? Patrick Mahomes' worst year, and you comparing it to Baker's best year? That's bad. I would have kept that to myself. So let's get back to the Panthers game. So I just want to address that too. So be careful when you throw in Baker Mayfield's numbers to players that are far better than him. Be careful. Just be careful. Just be careful flexing Baker Mayfield's numbers in his contract year. This is not Lamar Jackson's contract year. This is not Patrick Mahomes' contract year. So they don't need to perform at a high. They already know what type of player they are. Nobody really people know what type of player Baker Mayfield is at this point. He's a average quarterback, gutsy, fiery, moxie, whatever you want to, intangibles, whatever you want to put that on that, and whatever however much money that's worth, fine. But I think we can all agree that this year of the quarterbacks have been average at best. A lot of quarterbacks are hovering between 3,400 and 3,900 yards. A lot of them. And it's been a lot of injuries, too. At the quarterback position. I think this is like a record number of quarterbacks have been started for teams in NFL history in the last, 20 years? So, once again, you're comparing guys at an elite level, played at a high level in big games consistently to a quarterback in Baker Mayfield that has been this season in a contract year average at best. Because prior to this season, outside of that one season with Cleveland when they went 10-6, and you have to put context with that season because he had a top 5 O-line and a top 5 running game with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And they went 10-6. They won a playoff game, but the Cleveland Browns still moved on from him. So, you know what I'm saying? And this is not a Drew Brees reclamation project or a Matthew Stafford moving from the Lions to the Rams and becomes still good, right? So it's not that situation. Like I said, I want people to understand This is you got to add context when you start doing comparisons. And exactly, the NFC South is weak as hell too. So it's the worst division in the NFL to me, to be honest with you, or one of the worst in the NFL. So you got to add context to a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Baker Mayfield's an average at best quarterback, which is not bad. He's not bad. He's not terrible. He's not elite. He's not, he's just right in the middle. And I think that's the best you're gonna get. You know, in my opinion. So going into this game, the Panthers I don't think they're gonna lay down. I mean, it's a division game. It's a division game. So it's and I hate this. I hate the fact that the Bucs are in this situation. I don't like to use that word, but I don't like the fact that they in this situation because this is a very tricky situation. This ain't no give me my money, type situation. Yeah, you go. Of course, we all picking the Bucs to win. No doubt. There's no doubt in my mind they're gonna win, but you also have to play caution to the wind too, because it will be a terrible way to end the season. The Bucs put another stinker up, and coming off this game when you pretty much got out physical and out dominated. And I put a video up. I retweeted a tweet that I forgot who made it. I forgot what it was, but I retweeted it. Dennis Allen locker room speech to his team, and come to find out, the Bucs have been lackadaisical in practice for the last month and some change. No pads at all, and the Saints practice in pads going into this game this past Sunday, and it showed. So if I'm not mistaken, there's a rule in the NFL: you can only have 14 practices in pads and 11. And you have to have 11 practices in pads, something like that, and you can save like 3, something like that. So Dennis Allen saved one of his padded days for last week, and come to find out, Todd Bowles and the Tampa Bay Bucs have not been practicing in pads for the last several weeks. So what does that tell you? Preparation, man. You only get 14 padded practices, and goofy Dennis Allen just so happened to be smart enough to use one the week of playing the Bucs. I guess he knew that the game was going to mean something. I don't understand why Todd Bowles wasn't forward thinking that the Saints gonna come out here and try to beat us. So you got to be prepared, and it showed. And it showed in the trenches. The Saints were more physical on both sides of the ball, and they were missing Ryan Ramczyk. The Saints were missing Ryan Ramczyk, no Marshawn Lattimore, no Michael Thomas. They nicked up all over the place. No Trevor Penning, their first round pick this past draft. They were beat up, and they still beat us pretty handily too. Don't let the score fool you. They beat us. They out physicaled us in the trenches. That's what it was, and of course the couple of turnovers. They dominated. The Bucs couldn't run. The Bucs couldn't do anything. It seemed like the Saints was like, "Oh, this is what y'all putting up, powder puffs." But this goes back to Todd Bowles' game management, in-season head coaching decisions. In a close race to win the division, you come into the game not prepared. And then he made a statement of anybody could have beat the Bucs, high school, college, whatever the case may be. Do you know how stupid that sounds? Do you know how embarrassing that sounds to hear your head coach say, we wouldn't have beat anybody this past Sunday, high school, college, or NFL? That tells you the mentality of Todd Bowles. Was not prepared. In a must-win game, you should have had that team ready. So now you got to come back this Sunday and play the Carolina Kitty Cats in a must-win game, which can cost you your job. Or if you win the game, somebody might get hurt. And I ain't wishing no bad on nobody, but man, this is a risky game. And all the signs point to the Bucs to win the game. All the signs point to the Bucs to win the game. I got a train out here. I got a train over here making all this noise, but it's crazy. Everything points to the Bucs to win the game. Just this past Sunday, everything pointed to the Bucs to win the game. What did they do? Go in there and lay an egg at home. The Bucs don't have no home field advantage. They're 29th in the NFL at a negative 4.9. A strength of schedule of 22 and only got 8 wins. The total season strength of schedule was 25th in the NFL. They're 1-5, 1-6 against teams with winning records. The only win against a team with a winning record is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they've fallen apart. Well, they did get a win against the Panthers, matter of fact, but that ain't saying much. The only team they beat that you can say that's worth something is Jacksonville Jaguars, and we seen how we made them look. So, like I said, we can beat the bad teams, but that ain't guaranteed with the Bucs. They 8-8, folks, with the easy schedule. Yeah, they had a couple of hard games, but just in totality of the schedule, they should have had at least 10, 11 wins. But and I put this on the coaching. I'm not putting this on Baker Mayfield. I'm not putting this on Nick Canales. I'm not putting them to drop balls or not lack of running game. I'm putting this all on Todd Bowles. I'm just not a fan. I'm just not a fan. When I see Shane Steichen and D'Amico Ryans, even Jonathan Gannon beating the Eagles in Philly, you feel me? When I see these teams, I'm like, what damn? What's going on here? These are first year coaches that are clearly better than Todd Bowles. And we know we're not going to compare Todd Bowles to Kyle Shanahan and McVay and Dan Campbell, even Mike McCarthy. We're not going to compare him to that. We're not going to compare him to uh, Kevin Stefanski or John Harbaugh or Andy Reid or Mike McDaniel. I'm not going to compare him to those guys or Matt LaFleur, because these coaches have done more than Todd Bowles. Even Mike Vrabel has done more than Todd Bowles. You feel me? So it was a bad performance, and now you got to go into this game and trying to win the game. And I'm gonna give y'all a breakdown of this too. I'm gonna get. I know we've already discussed the matchup statistics, but Carolina played us pretty close a few weeks ago. So this ain't gonna be no just easy, breezy game. I got a feeling the Bucs gonna struggle. Like I don't know why, but this game this past Sunday has a major effect on this team's psyche. Baker Mayfield banged up. He got hit. Tyrann Mathieu gave him a nice little shot in the ribs, shoulder area, whatever you want to call it. He's sore right now. Todd Bowles said he gonna play that, which is good. He gonna be fine. But you know how Baker Mayfield is. He'll swallow it up. He gonna be like, "Oh, I'm good," and he get out there and he playing hurt. He take a hit. It's like, "Oh, ouch." And then once he take a hit from a good shot from Brian Burns or Derek Brown or Frankie Louvu, it's like, "Oh, what do I do?" This ain't no easy game, folks. The Bucs are 19th in points per game at 21.2 points a game. Carolina Panthers give up 25 points a game, and the Bucs scored 21 last time they played the Panthers in a 3-point victory at home. The Bucs averaging 318 yards a game, 23rd in NFL. And I got to keep it 100 with you guys. That's not better than Byron Leftwich. I mean, I know this Dave Canales' first season. I get it. But there was a lot of hoopla about Canales is going to be much better than Byron Leftwich. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do a breakdown with the numbers from 2019, 16 games, 2019, 2020, and 2021. I'm going to do a breakdown after 16 games. And even in 2022, Byron Leftwich after 16 games, how did the Bucs offense look numbers-wise compared to Dave Canales in 2023 after 16 games? I am definitely going to do that. I'm going to make a separate video for that because a lot of people are jumping around. Oh, Dave Canales is better than Todd Bowles. I mean, better than Byron Leftwich and this and that. The numbers don't back that. The numbers don't back that there's been a major improvement. 23rd in the NFL in yards per game. 318 yards a game? That, with a rejuvenated Baker Mayfield, with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and an improved Rachaad White, and obviously an improved Cade Otton. What's going on here? What are we doing? I thought this was supposed to be a night and day, oil and water. The Panthers defense only allow 298 yards a game. Top 3 in the NFL. Number 3 in the NFL in yards allowed per game. Good luck. Good luck. Haven't scored a touchdown in opening drive and it's week 17. Haven't scored a touchdown, Rashad. Haven't scored a touchdown on the opening drive. The Bucs. A rejuvenated Baker Mayfield, a energetic jet sweep and screens and all this. They could. You mean to tell me we can't get a touchdown on the opening drive? Are we the only team in the NFL? Let me repeat this. The Panthers defense, and that dude, the defensive coordinator, is the former defensive coordinator for the Broncos. He's pretty good. He'll probably be a head coach in a better situation. But the Panthers defense, despite the injuries they had all season long, Shaq Thompson, J.C. Horn missing a chunk of the season, number 3 in the NFL in yards allowed per game. 298 yards a game. As bad as the Panthers has 2-14. Did you know if the Panthers had matter of fact, if the Panthers had a Bucs type offense, they will probably win the division a lot easier. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, with that defense the Panthers got, if they had a halfway decent offense, if they had the Bucs offense, which is not great compared to the numbers show you, the Panthers will probably win 11 games easily. The division will be sold up. The Panthers will be NFC champions or NFC South champions already. The division would have been sewn up a week or two ago. That's how good their defense has been playing. Go watch the film. Their offense is terrible. And their defense has been on the field all season long, injured, nicked up, and they still number 3 in the NFL in yards allowed per game. So you Bucs fans that think that the Bucs is going to walk in and light it up, when have you lit up the Panthers? When has anybody lit up the Panthers? Very few teams have lit up the Panthers defensively. The offense is terrible. That's the reason why they 2-14. It is literally the offense. The head coaching situation and the offense is the only reason why the Panthers are 2-14. They got a playoff defense. I'm gonna tell you why though. Remember that season when the Panthers, that draft class the Panthers had, when they drafted all defense? The Bucs might need to do that too. Anyway, the Panthers defense allows 5 yards per play. That's seventh in the NFL. The Bucs yards per play is 5.2. That's 15th in the NFL. Third down conversion. The Bucs are 41%, 11th in the NFL, which they have fallen down the rankings in third downs. Remember on third downs, the Bucs are really, really good. I think they were top 5 on third down conversions. Now they have dropped down, still pretty good, the 11th in the NFL, but that number has dropped. I remember they was at what, 46, 45% on third down conversions. What has happened? Panthers allow 38% on third downs, 14th in the NFL. You can convert fourth downs on the Panthers. They're 32nd in the NFL, give up 70%. The Bucs are number 2 in the NFL on fourth downs at 66%. Red zone scoring, 25th in the NFL. Tampa Bay Bucs at 45.89%. If you get to the red zone in the Panthers, you can score touchdowns. The Panthers give up 66.67%, 27th in the NFL in red zone touchdowns allowed. If you get to the red zone, you can score on them. But between the 20s, it's hard. The Bucs average 2.3 points a game, or 2.3 touchdowns per game. That's 16th in the NFL. Dangerous, folks. Panthers average 14 points a game. I mean, I don't really need to go down the offensive statistics. They're pretty much bottom. They're bottom 5 in a lot of them. They're number 32 in a few of them, and they're bottom 10 in a couple, bottom 6 in a couple. So yeah, their offense is terrible. I told y'all that. The Bucs defense allows 20 points a game, ninth in the NFL. Not bad. The Bucs defense allows 353 yards a game, 25th in the NFL. Yards per play, 25th in the NFL. The Bucs allow 5.5 yards to play, 25th in the NFL. So you can move the ball on the Bucs between the 20s. Third down conversions. The Bucs allow 42.25%, 27th in the NFL on third downs allowed. So that means on third down, you can get a first down because the cornerbacks love playing 15 yards off the ball on 3rd and 4. The Bucs allow 43.48% on fourth downs, 5th in the NFL. So on fourth downs, you can convert that too. Why? Because the cornerbacks on 3rd and 2, 8 yards off the ball. Because they don't want to get Cooper Kupp. The Bucs so scared of getting Cooper Kupp by Adam Thielen, they don't probably pay 15 yards off the ball. Now the Bucs red zone defense is pretty good. 42.5% touchdown. So you ain't scoring in the red zone in the Bucs. They don't give up a lot. You missed a lot, Bucket, with your girl. You missed a lot already. I'm halfway through the video. Go back and rewatch it again. The Bucs averaging 3.4 yards per carry, 32nd in the NFL. With the improved Rachaad White the last few weeks, that has not made a difference on yards per attempt. 3.4 yards per attempt, even though Rachaad White has been running the ball good. Matter of fact, this past Sunday, the Bucs could not run the ball. They kept running the ball up the middle. The level of insanity by Dave Canales this past Sunday was ridiculous the first 3 quarters. Where was the screen passes? Where was the outside runs for Rachaad White? Remember I told y'all before the game, the pregame, when I was telling y'all the preview that Rachaad White need to get 25 touches. He didn't get 25 touches, and he was irrelevant for the most part. 3.4 yards a carry, and Rachaad White been doing pretty good the last couple of weeks, but you still number 32 in the NFL. What's going on with Skip Pete? I thought he was the difference maker. The Bucs average 25 carries a game, 23rd in the NFL. Rushing yards per game, 87.3 yards per game, 31st in the NFL, with a much improved Rachaad White the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks. What's going on, Skip Pete? What's all the talk about Rachaad White getting 1,000 yards? Everybody's so hyped up about him getting 1,000 yards, but you fail to realize the Bucs running game is still terrible. Still terrible. And getting 1,000 yards in today's NFL as a running back, it ain't saying much. All you got to do is average 58 yards a game. The new 1,000 yards now is 1,500. 1,500. Not 1,000. The 1,000 is not 1,000 anymore. It's 1,500. Or at least 1,300, 1,400. Embarrassing, folks. Embarrassing. Hold up now. Hold up, man. Hold up. And for whatever reason, the Dave Canales think the interior of our O line is our strength in the run game, and it's clearly the worst in the NFL. We have probably the worst interior set of O linemen in the NFL. Yes, that includes Cody Mulch. He's been a little underwhelming, but I can't really get mad at him because he's a rookie. So y'all can jump around and beat your chest about 1,000 yards and stuff, but come on, man. Do y'all realize we got one of the worst run offenses in? We have the worst run offense in the NFL with the worst interior in the NFL. The worst, in my opinion. That's terrible. Robert Hainsley is not a pure center. He's not a good center, folks. And they keep continuously running the ball behind him. Makes no sense. Embarrassing. You embarrassing me and the Bucs fans. Dave Canales, what you doing? Cody Mulch, he's a rookie, so I can't really get mad at him. Aaron Stinney, he's a backup. Starting. What NFL team is going to start Aaron Stinney? I don't even think Robert Haynes is a starter. So we got two guys, left guard and center, that probably wouldn't be a starter for at least 20 teams in the NFL. Teams run the ball 50% of the time against Carolina's defense because they can't throw the ball because their secondary is really like that. We'll get to that in a second. Carolina defense allows 4.1 yards per carry. Opponents run the ball 29, basically 30 times a game, 29th in the NFL. Opponents average 123 yards per game against Carolina's defense. Their run defense can be had. 23rd in the NFL. So the Bucs can run the ball against the Carolina Panthers. They could have ran the ball against the Saints, but for some strange reason, they couldn't do it. I wonder why. The Saints' run defense has not been good at all. Now the Bucs run defense is really good. The Bucs run defense is top 10 in all the categories. They only give up 93 yards a game. They only give up 3.8 yards a carry, which is fifth in the NFL. So the Bucs run defense is just fine. Now the Carolina Panthers run offense, 3.9 yards per carry, 23rd in the NFL. That's because no threat at quarterback, to be honest with you. They average 102 yards a game, which is better than the Bucs, 20th in the NFL. Bucs pass offense against Carolina's pass defense. This ought to be an interesting matchup right here. The Bucs' strength is throwing the ball, Dave Canales, not running the ball and doing dive plays and halfback dives in the A gap and 0 and 1 gap. The Bucs pass the ball 58% of the time. That number's looking similar to Byron Leftwich, but a lot of people complain about that Byron Leftwich throwing the ball too much. Byron, you throwing the ball too much, Byron. Well, Dave Canales is at 58%. Now, Byron Leftwich was at 62, 63, 64, 65%, but Dave Canales is trending in that right direction. 58%. Throws the ball 58% of the time. Closer than close. Carolina pass defense, opponents pass play percentage 48, 49% of the time opponents pass against the Carolina Panthers defense. Number one in the NFL. Let's put that in perspective, folks. Opponents rush play percentage against the Panthers defense 50%, 32nd in the NFL. Opponents pass play percentage throwing the ball against Carolina is 49% of the time. Number one in the NFL. Completion percentage, Bucs passing offense, completion percentage. 64%, 18th in the NFL. Carolina Panthers pass defense give up 64% completion percentage, 12th in the NFL. Passing yards per play, the Bucs are 10th in the NFL at 6.9. Carolina Panthers pass defense, 6.2, 9th in the NFL. Strength on strength, folks. This it's literally Bucs pass offense versus the Carolina Panthers pass defense. When I look at the numbers and look at the tape, passes per game, the Bucs averaging 33.5 yards, 33.5 passes a game. Opponents passes per game, 28.1. Number one in the NFL. Opponents only throw the ball 28 times a game against the Carolina Panthers pass defense. Opponents are like, no thanks. Shout out to the Carolina Panthers defensive coordinator. He's pretty good. Bucs passing yards per game offensively, 231 yards per game, 15th in the NFL, average at best. Carolina Panthers pass defense, 175 yards a game. Number three in the NFL. That's right behind the Browns, I believe, and the Ravens. Dangerous game, folks. Dangerous game. Closer than close. Dangerous game, folks. I just gave you a breakdown of the numbers, and you saw the game against the Panthers last about 4 weeks ago. It was not a pretty game. We beat them by 3 at home. Now you got to go to Carolina. Now Carolina's a mess. Dave Tepper, the Carolina Panthers owner, is a dingleberry. Did y'all see him throw a drink on a Jaguars fan? He was up in his little suite. He was so pissed off. He threw a drink on somebody. Of course, he's gonna get fined, probably suspended. Oh, I forgot to mention this. The Bucs' time of possession, 48%. They have the ball. That's 22nd in the NFL. Opponents have the ball at 47% for the Panthers. Carolina Panthers, they have the ball 52% of the time offensively. That's 7th in the NFL. So that tells me that the Carolina Panthers are pretty much damn near 4% better than the Bucs as far as TOP. That's time of possession. Closer than close. So, in other words, folks, as I wrap this video up, I got about 10 minutes left. What y'all think gonna happen? Is Winfield Jr. gonna have? Is he really healthy? Did he get another concussion? Did he bang his head against somebody's knee again? Something like that, leg or something like that? Carlton Davis, is he gonna be ready to play? Is Devin White gonna have a game of his life to close out the season to get that contract? You got time? You want to talk about crypto? Is Vita gonna terrorize the whole game and not be so ghost for most of the game? Can we stop Chuba Hubbard? And Miles Sanders? Is Levante David gonna have to save the day? Is Jamel Dean not gonna get hurt when he give up a touchdown and fall down and act like he hurt? On 3rd and 7, is Todd Bowles gonna play 15 yards off the ball with the secondary? Is Ryan Neal gonna mess up and give up a touchdown to Tommy Tremble? Are they gonna allow Adam Thielen at 33 years old to look like Cooper Kupp, a prime Cooper Kupp? Are they gonna allow DJ Chark to look like T. Higgins? Is Joe Tryon gonna get a sack? Is Logan Hall gonna get an assisted sack? Is Marquise Watts gonna get more playing time? Is Shaq Barrett gonna do anything for us? Is KJ Britt gonna get most of the snaps this game, Todd Bowles? How often Todd Bowles gonna blitz? 49% of the time? And get burnt on 48% of it? I see the spread only -6. It's only -6. -6 is the spread. Only -6. Place your bets. Hurry, hurry. Closer than close. Is Todd Bowles gonna play man on 3rd down, or he gonna play zone, or he gonna do an all-out blitz 8 and blitz 7 and drop 4? What are he gonna do on 3rd downs? Because I'm looking at that. This game, I'm looking at 3rd downs. I don't want to see Bryce Young running around looking like Kyler Murray mixed with Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to see Bryce Young look like Lamar Jackson. Nowhere near it. I want to see him look like the 4 interceptions Joshua Dobbs. I don't want to see Chuba Hubbard, Chuba, the Tube, and Miles Sanders get off. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Anthony Nelson in coverage. Is Ryan Neal going to do anything? Is Mike Evans going to have a deep ball, drop ball again, and lose all confidence, and the team going to fall apart? Is he going to drop one of them type of balls again? Is Chris Godwin going to get more than 5 targets in the first half? Will Dave Canales stop running the ball in the middle and make them stupid dive plays? Will he stop doing that on first and second down? Is he going to stop running those jet sweeps with sideline Tompkins? Is Rachaad White going to get some screen passes? Is he going to get 25 touches? Will Trey Palmer catch the ball in clutch moments? Is Mike Evans gonna get frustrated because J.C. Horn on him or Dante Jackson? Is he gonna get frustrated? Actually, the odds are 5.5. Will Todd Bowles use all his timeouts in the first half, or he gonna keep it with him for the second half? So he can have 6 timeouts in the second half. It's 5 point. It's a minus 5.5 now, folks. The total is 38 points. The over under. The total points is 38. This the over and under. What y'all betting on? Y'all betting over 38 or under 38? Minus 5.5, man. Tampa Bay. I mean, for Tampa's 5.5. Will Cade out make a big play and stop? I don't know what Cade out be doing sometimes. Will Cade out be explosive? Hurry, place your bets. Closer than close. Will Devin White get drove back by the Carolina Panthers guards 10 yards down the field? Will Joe Tryon overrun a sack? Will he whiff on Bryce Young? Closer than close. Will sideline Tompkins stop running to the sideline and running a punt return straight ahead for 15, 20 yard return, flip the field? Will sideline Tompkins stop running to the sideline? Closer than close. Will Luke Gedicke stop? Will he start making some false starts? Will the interior O line block for Rachaad White finally, so he can get his little 1,000 yards? Will Baker Mayfield have over 100 yards at halftime? Will we see Baker Mayfield show up in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left and throw for 250 yards to make his numbers look good at the end of the game and have 4,100 yards passing for the season, career high, with about 30 touchdowns? We're going to look up and Baker Mayfield going to have like 98 yards passing at halftime. Will Todd Bowles make in-game adjustments when the game get tight? What the Bucs going to do? Will they fold like a lawn chair? So the injury report. Will Jenna Lane keep asking stupid questions? Will Jenna Lane keep asking about Tom Brady? Baker Mayfield probable with ribs. Raheem Jarrett quadriceps IR. Mike Green calf IR. Carlton Davis concussion questionable. Cole Keith shoulder questionable. Shaq Barrett groin questionable. Panthers kicker Eddie Pinheiro hamstring questionable. Panthers cornerback Troy Hill concussion questionable. Closer than close. We can come closer. Closer than close. Well, what y'all think? Give me y'all score. Give me y'all predictions. Give me y'all. Tell me what y'all going. Tell me what y'all think gonna happen. What's y'all score predictions and who gonna win the game? Will the Panthers play Andy Dalton? Will Brian Burns and Derek Brown harass Baker Mayfield? Will Derek Brown destroy the Bucs interior O line? Will Brian Burns get a sack on Luke Gedeke or Tristan Wirfs? Will Frankie Louvu blow up some plays? Will Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn get an interception? Did y'all know Jerry McChin not even starting for the Panthers and their secondary still good? What y'all think the score gonna be? Give me your score prediction. Give me your score prediction. Closer than close. He don't fit the system, which is very shocking. And the Panthers secondary still top 5 in yards allowed, passing wise. Closer than close. Oh, hold on. Somebody got. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up, JR. Dot. Really, really, really. You got some explaining to do. You got some explaining to do. You got some explaining to do. I'll tell you right now. Boy, the pressure gonna be on the Bucs. Boy, I want y'all to pay attention to the Bucs' emotions, especially in the first quarter. Especially in the first quarter, I want y'all to watch the team emotions, body language. Coming off a bad performance, I want y'all to watch the Bucs' body language. In particular, Evans, Godwin, Devin White. Watch those guys, man. I got the Bucs winning in a tough game by the score of 20-13. We pull it out. We go 9-8, and we're gonna host the Eagles or the Cowboys. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Payday, payday, payday. That's a good point. Just win the game. Forget all the predictions. Just win the game. You know what? That's forget my score. Just win the game. I don't care if you win 3-0. Just win the game. If you win ugly, win it. I like that. I'm gonna go with Payday 39. Shout out to Payday 39. The best prediction right there. That's the best prediction right there. It's either the Bucs gonna finish 8-9 or 9-8. That's the only option you have. Just win the game. Just win, man. I don't care what the score gonna be, man. 6-0, 9-0, just win. Who cares about the score? I'm with Payday 39. I want us to play the Eagles, by the way. I want us to play the Eagles, by the way. I don't want us to play the Cowboys. We don't need to play the Cowboys. That's a bad matchup. That is a bad. I'm telling y'all. I'm warning y'all right now. You do not. The Bucs do not want to play the Cowboys. That is a terrible matchup for them. Terrible because the trenches don't match up well. Our secondary don't match up well against CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks and Michael Gallup. Don't match up well. I want the Bucs to play the Eagles. The Eagles are reeling right now. There's a possibility we can get the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Let me calm down. Let me focus on the Panthers. Let me focus on the Panthers. Let me focus on the Panthers. Let me calm down. But yeah, there you have it. I got the Bucs just winning the game. Who cares about the score? Just win the game. Shout out to all the Powers and C-Bands. Thank you for joining this live stream. It's down to the wire. Win or go home. No excuses. No excuses this game, folks. I don't want to hear it. I don't want after the game over with, whether we win or lose. I don't want to hear no excuses. My prediction for the step, my season prediction as far as the record, my prediction was 7-10. So I'm gonna either be +1 or I'm gonna be I'm gonna be +1 for them. My schedule was 7-10. I predicted them to 7-10. The Bucs are 8-8 right now, so they +1. So I was off by 1, or I could be off by 2. Oh, by the way, did anybody got a chance to watch the games yesterday? The college football playoff games. Both games were good. Both games came down to the wire. Shout out to the Michigan Wolverines. Shout out to the Washington Huskies. Well deserved. They fought hard. They pulled it out in clutch moments. The Michigan defense held the end of the bargain. Alabama was struggling for a while. Jalen Milroe, who declared that he was coming back to Alabama, I don't even know why he announced that. Like he was draft eligible. Like anybody was going to draft him at quarterback. I don't know why he said he's coming back. Like he was an NFL prospect or something like that. But anyway, Nick Saban for the third year in a row, no national championship. What's going on with Alabama? Did the College Football Playoff Committee get it right with the four best teams? Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Alabama. That Washington and Texas game was pretty good too. Blake Corum, he is nice. He's going to be all right in the NFL. I think he'll be a good complimentary back. Like, pair him up with another back. JJ McCarthy is not a first-round quarterback. I do not want to see any mock drafts with JJ McCarthy going to the Bucs. He is not a first-round quarterback. That's like drafting Christian Ponder. JJ McCarthy. Do not take him in the first round. Any fan base that's listening to this live stream, please, you better hope your team do not draft him in the first round. Jim Harbaugh, will he be an NFL coach? Will this be his last game if he wins the national championship? Kalen DeBoer. Shout out to Kalen DeBoer, the Washington Huskies head coach. Worked his way up. And that was an NAA or whatever, IA, whatever, 3 championships there, OC and this and that, and Fresno State head coach. He is really liked. I like Grubbs too at the OC. The Washington Huskies OC Grubbs, I like him. If I was an NFL team that needed an OC, I would take a look at Grubbs. I would literally take a look at Grubbs, and he's going to be a head coach. That Washington OC, he really like that. I like he aggressive, man. The Washington receiving core, Polk, McMillan, Oduzier, all those guys are NFL receivers. Now, can the Bucs get one of them? For one, you're not getting a Romeo Oduzier. You're not getting Romeo Oduzier. You're not getting Malik Neighbors. Brian Thompson from LSU. Xavier Worthy, maybe. Romeo Oduzier, to me, just by the eye test, I think he was the best receiver in college last year. He should have won the that's all, folks. Blitnikoff Award. He is the best receiver in college right now. I know it might Marvin Harrison Jr. I get it, but Romeo Oduzier, man, that dude nasty, man. And also, shout out to Michael Penix Jr., Tampa native. Shout out to his parents, his mom and dad, who were at the game. You know, I'm a big advocate of mom and dad at the game, especially dad. You know, I'm pro fatherhood, so seeing Michael Penix's dad at the game was huge for me. Shout out to all the NFL fathers, NCAA fathers that support their sons, that come to the games, show up to their games. Big ups to the fathers. But Michael Penix Jr., that dude was making NFL throws all game long. You cannot tell me he's on a first round pick. I mean, you can't tell me, but to me, the eye test, he's a first round pick. Jalen Milroe dad was in the stands too. Shout out to Jalen Milroe's dad too. Michael Penix was making NFL throws all game long. His deep ball is one of the best deep balls I've seen in years from a college quarterback. His deep balls are better than some of the quarterbacks that's in the NFL right now. And he got a cannon. Come on now, Jay Ellis. You really? Okay, so I said let me back this up. So you pick out one throw? So what about the 28 completions? 28 for 39, 430 yards. And you picked out one throw. And yeah, it was an underthrow. He usually don't do that. So to pick out that throw, now if he was doing it all year long, I understood why you picked that out. But the fact that that is so much an outlier, the fact that you picked that up, you picked that throw out, yikes. And you seen it all season long. He been doing those throws all season long. 20-yard, 30-yard, 40-yard throws, 50-yard throws, 55-yard throw, 50 all season, and you picked that one throw out. That is a terrible reach. That ain't saying nothing bad about Michael Penix. You pick one throw out of that game. What about those other throws? What about the 28 completions? Why you ain't pick one of them? Why you ain't pick one of them dimes that he threw? What you picked out? See, this is why I don't understand. I get it. Negativity brings a lot of attention and it gets a lot of views. But you got to add context. If you're going to pick out that one throw, pick out a good throw. You didn't say anything about a good throw. You picked out the throw that you wanted to push on the chat. What about that dime that he threw to Big Billy over the middle? You didn't pick that throw out. Or that dime he dropped the doozy, a few of those dimes. Or a couple dimes to the tight end. Or poke. What about that throw? You really picked out the one deep ball? Wow. Major reach. Major reach, Jay Ellis. I thought you was better than that. Major reach. Major reach. And I've seen some people talk about Michael Penix injury history. I've seen some Bucs fans talk about his size. A friendly reminder, folks. Michael Penix is 6'3", 215, 220 pounds. He's bigger than Baker Mayfield. Height-wise and weight-wise. Now, I get it, his injury history. The last 2 years, he's been healthy. Now, shout out to the Washington Huskies O-line. That left tackle and that right tackle, pretty good. They'll probably be NFL tackles, but his last 2 years, he's been injury-free. Now, I will say this about Michael Penix. You better have an O-line, though. You better have an O-line. You draft Michael Penix, you need to invest in the O-line, because if you get that man some time, you got time, he going to tear you up. If the Bucs got an opportunity to draft Michael Penix Jr. at 19, 18, 19, 20, what should the Bucs do? Would the Bucs really pass up a 5-year contract with Michael Penix? That's what the 5th-year option. Would they really pass it up and sign Baker Mayfield to a 3-year deal, 2-year guaranteed? I mean, Penix is 23 going on 24 by the time the draft hit. Baker is what, 27 going on 28, something like that, 29? I mean, how do you want to do it? Washington O-line is pretty good. I think at a minimum, 3 of those guys are going to be NFL starters right away. Matter of fact, if you're watching this game, Michigan and Washington, there will probably be in the trenches alone. Washington Huskies O-line, Michigan O-line, there will be about 4 or 5 players combined that will be starters in the NFL. Matter of fact, Michigan D-line got a couple of starters in the NFL. Yeah, his medical test is going to be interesting, though. Yeah, medical test is going to be, but just from a talent perspective, he's a first-round pick. And you know the beautiful thing about Michael Penix? I actually hope this happened to him. He goes to a team between 20 and 32. I don't want Michael Penix going in the top 20. I want him to go to a team between 20 and 32. Go to the team like the Lions, who at some point they're going to come off with Jared Goff. Go to the team like the. No, I mean, my bad. They can't do that because the Lions did draft Herndon Hooker. My bad. Go to the team like who between 20 and 32. The Steelers. Go to the Steelers because Kenny Pickett is terrible. Can you imagine Michael Penix with George Pickens and Deontay Johnson and Pat Humerth, whatever, I can't pronounce his last name. With Austin, I want Michael Penix to go to a team that's already like established. Yeah, that's the tackle. That's that tackle. That's the Troy. I can't pronounce his last name. That's that tackle from Washington. He's pretty good. But I want Michael Penix to go to a team. Matter of fact, the Minnesota Vikings will be good for Michael Penix. The Minnesota Vikings will be good with Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne. There you go. The Vikings will be good for Michael Penix Jr. I'm enough of my rambling. Let me stop. But shout out to Michael Penix, man. Tampa, he gave Tampa a shout out. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Shouts out to all the Pirates and Sea Bandits. Thank you for joining. Sunday, folks. Strap in. Put your seatbelts on like Seatbelt Davis. And don't run nowhere. Don't run to the sideline. Strap in like Seatbelt Davis. Fire those cannons. Seize the day. Raise the flag. Hashtag life after Brady. Hashtag when I go home. Hashtag don't get mad at me. I don't play the game. I just talk about it. Hashtag facts over feelings. Hashtag trenches matter. Hashtag probability over possibility. Hashtag what did your eyes tell you? Hashtag don't get mad at me. Please don't get mad at me. Okay? Man, it had to come down to the last game. When I go home, folks, I'll see y'all Sunday. Super Bowl of Bucs. Let me stop. Buckles log out. Oh, my bad. Shake and bake. Hashtag shake and bake. Hashtag pay Mike. I'm out.